Hey everyone, we are back again with another Q&A session. Before we start, be sure to watch the first 2 episodes to make sure your question hasn't already been answered. I also noticed that many of the questions were discussed in our 12th podcast with Deej, so please give that a listen to if you haven't already. Keeping with the tradition, I'll start with the questions from Twitter and then answer the questions submitted on YouTube. If you have a question that you'd like answered in an upcoming episode, please reply with it in the comments of this video. At the end of the video, there's going to be a few games of Triple and I doing some pretend shoutcasting, basically just joking around. He'll be in an upcoming podcast, by the way, so you got that to look forward to. Unfortunately, the audio quality didn't turn out as well as I'd like, but I wanted to include it as a bonus for those of you who are interested. Now let's get to it. From Jakes Anderson 0423, what's your day job? Well, right now my day job's actually PlanetDestiny. I actually have a lot of responsibilities here. I take care of a lot of the voiceover work for our videos. I'm constantly recording footage from the game, gathering community ideas for podcast topics and video ideas. The list is actually pretty long if I actually took the time to put it all into words. But before I got this absolute best job in the world, I was a freelance photographer. I photographed weddings and other events. In my off time, I played video games. Funnily enough, now I play video games as my job, and then in my off time, I photograph. Jaw Jitsu asks, do you think auto rifles should get unnerfed? I do think they should, at least in PvE. This is something that we should have mentioned to Deej, but we didn't get a chance to actually mention it before he had to leave. I would be shocked if the Crucible devs didn't already know that people have been complaining about it, so we might have something to look forward to in the future. King Not British says, do you lot ever think exotic shaders sparrows will be a thing? I'm not sure about the shader, but actually there is one exotic sparrow in the database right now. I'm not sure if we'll ever see it, but it's interesting that they actually made one. We'll just have to wait and see if it'll ever be used. I do hope that we'll see some better sparrow designs in the future though, especially from an exotic one. Basically all of them right now have all the same looks and aesthetics, and it just gets really bland to see that. Big Mike 899 wants to know if Fatebringer will get a bump in House of Wolves, or will it go obsolete with the next DLC. I don't think it'll be getting an attack damage change. Deej said that Vault of Glass weapons will be frozen in time, but I don't think that it'll become obsolete either. However, with the new raid hand cannon, people might prefer to use that over Fatebringer, but really who knows. I still think Fatebringer will definitely be a contender and will continue to be used in a lot of the content. Charlie G. Barn, Jeesley, and Josh Kurash all basically asked the same question. What are you hoping for most in the House of Wolves raid? I really just want it to take longer to complete. While I appreciate the design philosophy that went into Crota's End, it made for a very short overall experience. I'm not looking for anything on the timescale that raids in like World of Warcraft take. Some of them can take upwards of 14 hours to complete on a good day. But I want something that's a little bit longer than Vault of Glass. I think that would be good overall for the community, as long as it can be completed in basically about 2 hours. I think that's a good time frame to put in for a raid. Also, some variants in raid mechanics would be nice to see. Everyone should have a part to play in the raids, and right now it feels like 1 or 2 members can really carry a raid team. Adding more mechanics to promote teamwork should be at the top of Bungie's list in my opinion. J. Godin 1998 asks, have you seen the videos of the vendor weapons? If so, what weapon do you think will be good? I believe you're actually talking about the leaked House of Wolves vendor weapons. We published a large video about that many months ago. However, the perks and stats on those weapons will probably be changing, so it's really too early to tell. But not taking into account perks and just the weapon types themselves, I'd say the hand cannons will probably continue to dominate. The Real Bat Gamer asks, do you guys think the Crucible will ever get a proper rewarding system? It depends on what you mean by proper, but I do think that reward systems will be changing sometime. Not only did Deej say that the Crucible guys know about this issue in our podcast, but in the dev open house they said, and I quote, Crucible rewards are on the low side for sure, an issue we intend to address in a future update. Gabe Diaz 93 and many others want to know, do you think Bungie is planning an exotic buff patch in the future? Again, I'll refer to the dev open house in which they said, we did a huge pass on exotic weapons shortly after Destiny release, and will likely do more updates like this in the future. And the dev went on to say that, I'm sure we'll be looking closely at Necrochasm and No Land Beyond when that time comes. All of this and more can be found in the Dev Open House article that we published on our site. It'll be annotated on the screen and linked in the description. Max Gollage asks, what are your favorite exotics currently in the game, both for PvE and PvP? We might have addressed this in one of our podcasts, but since I can't remember, I'll go ahead and answer it again. For PvE, it's a toss-up between Icebreaker and Gatlahorn for me. In my head, they are just tied for the #1 position for PvE exotics. For PvP, I love every single exotic hand cannon, but my current love affair is with Hawkmoon. Once you get used to controlling the recoil, it's just a really versatile threat. For the Xbox users, I'm going to say Thorn is a good replacement for Hawkmoon, at least right now. Patience and Time is my other favorite for PvP, but I really need to find a good legendary weapon so I can actually use Patience and Time more often. Soccer Angel 69 asks, when do you think Bungie will release House of Wolves? We don't really know exactly when, but if we're just taking random guesses, the date of May 19th has been thrown around a lot by Mega Man, and I think GameStop even said something about that. A great question from Jackalite. Do you think once special ammo gets nerfed, Invective and Icebreaker will be more used? Yes, I absolutely do. I definitely think Invective will be a more popular option, and could easily be a tier 2 PvP weapon now because of that utility. We also recently updated our Invective review, so be sure to watch that if you're thinking about using it. Speaking of special ammo, Fate of All Fools asks, do you think less people will play PvP once the special ammo gets nerfed? I think people will learn to adapt to it, and honestly, it's probably for the best. As a counter to that mindset, I'm sure that there are plenty of people who don't play the Crucible due to the dominance of certain secondary weapons that are currently in there. So who knows, we might actually see more people start playing it. Alright, that's actually enough for the Twitter questions for now, and by the way guys, if you aren't following us over there, that is the easiest way to get in touch with us, so it's worth it if you want to talk to us or get in on updates and tidbits of info as soon as possible. Lots of times we'll post cool fan art and other stuff that really isn't worth an entire video or article too. Alright, so now back to the questions. These come back to the responses from our last Q&A video. From the Coot J, what do you think about cheesing strikes and raids, and what's your favorite legendary weapon in game? We actually covered this question in the last podcast. I think it was the last topic that we discussed. But I think it really depends on what you define cheesing as. If it's a clever use of game mechanics, then sure, just why not? But exploiting glitches or doing the whole disconnecting to get Crota to stand in place so he won't work properly, that's taking things a little bit too far. Personally, I do cheese a lot of content. The Valis 2RX strike is a prime example of this. I simply don't want to stand in that room and deal with all of the ads, so I cheese the fight with arm-penetrating rounds from my sniper rifle. When it comes to doing things like the Crota DLC glitch though, I never did that. The fight was honestly just so fun that I didn't want to try to disconnect a bunch of times when it was just quicker to do it in the normal way. Fisherman722 asks, what kind of video will you be making on the day House of Wolves comes out, and will it be gameplay or something else? We do have some exciting news to share regarding House of Wolves, but we just can't talk about it yet. And by the way, I'll also probably be doing a face reveal when this exciting news drops, because I've gotten a lot of requests for that. But for right now, you can just think of me as a disembodied voice that can actually hold a controller. We will be streaming House of Wolves content when it is released though. We currently haven't done any streaming on Twitch yet, but I'll go ahead and put our Twitch account in the description so you guys can go follow it and be notified when we do start streaming. It's Video asks, with these rumors about Trials of Osiris, do you think it will be available during House of Wolves? Yes, I'd bet money on it. We have an article detailing literally everything that we currently know about it too, so be sure to check that out. Echo the Arcadian asks, what hand cannon do you think is the best? It really all depends on what you're doing. We did recently publish a top 5 hand cannons article though, so give that a read when you get the chance. Right now, all the exotic hand cannons are fantastic. I'd say Thorn is better in PvE and PvP, while Last Word is better in just PvP. Hawkmoon is great all around, and if you're looking for a legendary hand cannon that you can just kind of test the waters with, pick up the one from the Crucible vendor. I believe it's called The Fall Will Probably Kill You, or abbreviated at least. It's a really solid baseline hand cannon. I'll also go ahead and answer a highly requested question of, could you do a tier list for legendary weapons? Because the legendary weapon perks are so different depending on what you get, it's really hard to do a tier list for them. However, we do have a top 5 list for many of the legendary weapon types, and you can find those on our website. Kutch asks, what new features do you think Bungie should add to Destiny when the common expansion drops in Quarter 3? We recently published an article with 10 things we think would be very beneficial for Destiny. My personal favorite is the weapon customization changes. That and much more is detailed in that specific article, so I'll leave a link to that in the description. Finally, we'll end with a question from Mr. WL Moon, who says, do you think things like clan emblems, shaders, bounties, rankings, or rewards should ever be a thing in Destiny? I really do want clans to serve more of a purpose. That's, goes without saying. Getting an exclusive clan emblem or shader for completing a raid with a clan member would be really cool and probably easy to implement. There just needs to be more reasons to actually join and participate in a clan right now. And that's a wrap, guys. Thanks for watching, and once again, if you have any questions that you'd like answered in the podcast or a future Q&A, reply with it to this video. Our Twitter link will be in the description as well, so you can follow us there. We post lots of really cool stuff each day that just can't make it into a video. I'll see you guys in the next one. This has been Patrick Casey with Planet Destiny, your guide to the Destiny universe.
They still had 2 people that were below 1.0, but if you look at the KDs of the other team, all but one are below 1.0. They're not even getting above 0.6. Just showing that even if they had that teamwork, they would not be able to actually do anything because their gunplay was just so bad. They did not have the game sense to go up against Bravo team. I think that's where when we're looking at this whole thing at the end here, they were lacking everything to really get in there and actually have a good game against these guys.
I couldn't agree more. And, it's important to note that in Control, you can get outslayed, but still get the win. It's about capping those points. And just because you're not having a high amount of kills to deaths, you can still help your team by holding down those spawns and making those plays, capping the points. And that's what we saw last game, is even though there were some standout players, that it was a team effort is why they secured that win. And that's what makes this such an exciting game here as we approach the 11th hour of Sunday, April 12th, a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Another game of the side. This is a great it's a close quarters map, but there are some sidelines so you can get the sniper out and do some damage. Pardon me, I have to welcome Calby Beef to the Rec Nation. Thank you so much for supporting the cause here, Calby. A great person, really just a terrific human being. And
we're gonna start off. We're gonna be tossing some grenades up
right
top.
Here. They're making a hard B push. Got those nades there, trying to pick off some people. The grenade does not connect, unfortunately. The enemy is hanging back.
Shots were not landing, even though they were clearly landing. We got some guys jumping up top. Oh, taken out by a trip mine. What are we really going to need to see here from Alpha Team?
Well, what they're going to want to do is they're going to want to hold this B point, but more importantly than that, they're going to have to control the middle of the map and try to keep the enemy from attacking from too many angles, because while B is some place that you can have some good defense, there's so many routes into B that if you're not careful, the enemy can just swarm you from all angles and take over. So we'll see.
No one's actually going on the bottom. We see Triple and Holtzman moving actually down here to the bottom now, seeing if they can't flank around the other team, start netting some kills, start getting a larger point gap in between these guys.
Absolutely, Tom. Absolutely. And that's really what's going to make the difference here as well, is that who can get more flanks and really cause disruption in the enemy spawn.
We're going to see a spawn flip here.
And while you might wonder why that's a good play, it's important to note that you have a triple cap or a short amount of time, and those kills really add up. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then the enemy is stuck there trying to cap the next flag, and then you can swoop in and make some big plays there for your team. It's really something that you're going to want to keep your eye on in this match. It's going to make the difference. Absolutely. Tom, over to you.
A lot of erratic spawns. Alpha Team needs to actually be really on guard. They got a lot of people at A, not a lot of people up top, which is what they really need to hold here. C point, they can let it go as long as they, they got to keep their eye on it. If they let that go too much, then we're going to see some really bad spawns coming.
You got to keep your eyes on the prize. Isn't that right, Tom? Absolutely.
See Holtzman taking out someone here on the bottom side. He's going to move back into C. We're going to start seeing those erratic spawns come in again. Hopefully we can see some interesting plays come from the team. Oh, missing his shots. He needs to take his Ritalin, some sort of thing to help him focus. He is missing everything. Can't even land golden gun shots. This is just brutal.
You really hate to see that kind of thing happen when at the high level a player just can't make anything happen. It's just choking
especially
the easy plays.
Had the position there. He had the position
but it's okay, because this is still this is still like the first
Heavy
third
ammo
or so
did
of the
just
game,
come up. I
and
think we missed
it can
the
turn it
initial
around.
announcement. Should be interesting to see what actually happens here. Oh, triple wreck.
And triple wreck there picks up a triple. I guess that's why they call him triple wreck, ladies and gentlemen. What a great stop there. It's really important when you're dealing with heavy ammo to try to prevent the enemy from getting their heavy ammo, because that can make such a huge difference.
Huge.
And now it's just starting to snowball effect here. It's just a landslide. It's just a slaughter, really.
Seeing a lot of spawns come in on A now.
I was almost done, bro.
Hopefully the Alpha's not going to let this heavy ammo go to their heads. They had a nice push there.
Oh, and Pre-Dawn goes in, gets a big Titan Smash, 2 kills. NBA Mike cleans up triple wreck with a golden gun, and he's going to try to move in and be aggressive on that B point. But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to help him too much, because triple is now in B. He's popped his Blade Dancer, and he knows that they don't have a Titan Smash. That's going to be very important there.
On A. If they hold still,
picking up a bunch of kills here.
That glass that was not actually changed at all in the patch. One of the few surfaces left that armor-penetrating rounds can get through.
Absolutely. Triple Wreck wipes out their entire team over there in A. Now, Tom, what are you seeing from the enemy team here? What are they doing wrong, and what do they need to figure out here to make something happen? Because at this rate, they're about to be blown out.
Very easily with headshots. He is back in the game as far as his aim is concerned. He is getting some pretty quick shots, and the other team, you know, they're not doing anything. They're letting it get to their heads. I have seen comebacks come from things even farther than this. They need to just get back into the game, get their heads into the game.
They need to focus on the fundamentals here, and just try to take it one step at a time, because this match is still not over. They're get a team shot triple right there on the A capture point. I don't know if they're going to try to make a push for that.
Spawning at C point pretty heavily. We're seeing a lot of
some good stops there.
Pop his golden gun, see if he can't move in here. Get 1 kill. 2. Is there a third? We got a
Lucifer, 456 blocks triple wreck there, and gets him killed. Not the kind of play you want to see from the winning team, but it's okay because the lead is substantial at this point, and a few kills here and there isn't going to matter. Searching for this last guy. He seems to be underneath the map in the basement here, and he is not going to get that kill.
Heavy ammo just popped up.
DJ Fresh Boy does get taken down, though.
Final blow. That is a great match that we saw from Alpha Team. Bravo Team, they could have done a little bit better, Tom. Before we get to the kill board, what do you think they could have done different?
Well, you know, Tom, what I saw there was pretty disappointing. Not only were they weren't capping any zones, but they were just getting outslayed. They weren't killing anything. They weren't capping anything. I saw one player spinning in circles. It's very unfortunate to see a team fail to capitalize on their opportunities, and
we're just like the last game. We're seeing the other team, they are simply not getting above that 1.0 KDR, which is what you absolutely need. Even if you're not pushing forward, what you need to do is just not feed the other team points, Tom. That is the most difficult thing that people need to start learning how to do. We saw triple wreck, top 3 players with great KDRs, kind of carrying the rest of the team there on Alpha side. But they were working well together, so you know you can always carry a few people if they're not doing quite as good as your top. And I see we have another Apple disconnect. Wonderful.
Apple disconnect is for when one team beats another team so badly that you're not allowed to matchmake against them. It's kind of a sign of it is a disrespectful term to use against another opponent.
I really wish more players out there, if they were getting hammered down, really beaten hard like Bravo Team was there, I wish they would stick in it. I wish the game wouldn't disconnect them. You gotta get beaten down a couple times to really know what you can achieve in this game. When you see someone on a higher plane than you, you know, that makes you want to work even harder. And
as we move on to the next map here, we're going to be following Alpha Team on Rusted Lands. And this is a map we haven't seen too much of today. It's a really one of the best maps, I think, for Control, because it allows players...
That's not something that you want to do. Seeing a lot of grenades go into C. Hopefully we can see some death. Yes, we do see one grenade kill come from that.
Triple Rec pushing hard there in the C, manages to pick up a couple kills. Now that's a hard C push, is a great move on this map because generally the C side here is advantageous in terms of positioning, and control is all about positioning.
Really moving into actually Bravo point of all points. They really want to make that their home. We saw a lot of players there start. Hopefully they're going to keep up that momentum. Looks like they're going to, Bravo team is going for an A and B capture, which all things considered is a very strong way to go on this particular map. Very easy to move in between those 2 points. We're seeing this early game go off. There's not a huge point gap already at the start. This might actually be a pretty good game here, Tom. We might see some good plays coming from these teams.
And we would love to have that because the last 2 games have been pretty much blowouts. And you know, everyone came here to have some true entertainment here and watch 2 juggernauts go at each other back and forth.
Currently capping it. We got some interesting movement. Johnny FB23 is
Alpha team's gonna want to move back and try to get that C point back. As Triple Rec pushes up with his super, takes out the players, neutralized C, but he's going to go back to B, try to pick up another couple kills. He does see one hunter, takes him out, and now he's kind of divided up from his teammates here. Gets shut down by Johnny FB23, rocking the meter multi-tool. Meter multi-tool, very underrated weapon in the hands of a good player. Yeah, we've seen some good play with the meter lately. But Alpha team's over here. They're having that C spawn, and they're trying to push up and get the B cap.
Go around water towers. We're not seeing a lot of good movement come from there.
Yeah, we're not seeing a lot of flanks, and that's really what can make the difference here. One player on the enemy team does try to dare that B tunnel push, but unfortunately, Triple Rec was there to try to shut him down. Gerst going in with the flank, picks up a couple of kills, allowing his teammates to try to cap B here. Now, if they can get this 2 cap, that's going to be a big advantage because they're currently down by a small margin. But
pushing on
very quickly,
that water tower a little bit. You got some good distractions going. One does in fact have their super up, so beware of Johnny FB23. He does have his super up, and that could be a very big pain in Bravo's or Alpha's side, whatever team we're on.
Enemy captured zone B.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, heavy ammo has come up. Unfortunately, not too many players seem to have gotten it.
Very bad game awareness on their
Triple Rec,
side.
maybe the sole player here with the heavy ammo. There is one player in the B tunnels. He's going to be backing off there. And as Bravo pushes up with their heavy,
we're starting to see a point gap.
You just gotta wonder if we're seeing.
It's not looking good for Alpha Team currently. We got a couple people moving on to A points.
It is not looking good at all.
Done in here.
Triple Rec trying to hold it down in C. He's getting chased here. Still has his heavy ammo. Just got his super up as well. Unfortunately, gets a shotgun in the back by a little bitch-ass piece of crap. Now they are spawning on A side. They're going to cap A, and they're still going to try to make that push to B because even though you don't have the C spawn,
there's a little bit more cover for you there. You're gonna have to contend with a lot less stuff. While yes, some teams can get fortified a little bit more in there, you know, it's just gonna work out a little bit better for the other team.
I'm really confused as what I'm seeing there from Alpha Team because
they are keeping inside
a number of players that are just not doing
dictating the pace of this battle, and that's something that the Alpha Team really needs to get down on. We saw a nice push from Holtzman coming out of A. B point is now clear. Triple Rec moving up.
Triple Rec's pushing up, trying to get some kills here with his super. Does manage to get one, picks up a second, picks up a third. That's going to be a nice three-piece as they're trying to push in here and really gain control back in this match as B is now secure.
Enemy Titan came in and actually took out a great load of people. And
now this you start to see the comeback here as Alpha team has the good positioning.
Zone A lost.
Now they're gonna need to do a little bit more than that, even though they had a really good golden opportunity there to start retaking that point. Johnny FE23 wreaking havoc with that Mida.
Oh, and Triple Wreck shuts down that Titan mid-air, saving multiple teammates in the process. That is a really impressive move there. Lucky for him that he wasn't using the Unstoppable perk, which would have probably
Heavy ammo on.
caused that kill to go through.
Yeah.
It would be a really big move here in order to hold this B point. Triple Wreck manages to pick up a two-piece there. The question is, you don't know how many enemies have saved their heavy
seems to be a
and how many are
fairly
using
organized
it.
group of
It's
people
easy to
that
get complacent
Alpha
here.
team is currently going up against. This is what happens when we see two teams who are actually playing well together.
Error 9812 does not appear to have a primary weapon. It's really disappointing to see these players exhibit such silly behavior here.
It's not a primary. I am now out of character for a moment. He doesn't have a that is a very foolish decision to come into a PvP match without a primary weapon. That is
Very,
odd.
very,
You don't
very
see that
foolish.
often.
Now, while they do have the Bravo point, enemies have hopped onto this. Well,
Okay, they
actually,
have Cap C. They now
Alpha
have the A and
stopped the
Bs.
cap there, but we're still at a 2 cap advantage in favor of Alpha, which is excellent here, especially as we reach the latter stages of this match. And it's really gonna come down to the next few minutes here and what they can do to try to hold the lead.
Some defending A point with that golden gun. We are seeing.
Fortunately, Triple Wreck gets
We are seeing
taken
some
out by a
really,
fusion
really
grenade there.
strong play from Triple Wreck here. If we look at the scores right now, we are seeing some point gaps start to come up, mainly from Triple Wreck, already at 5,500. Rest of the team not really able to even scrape above 3K. I think that's why they're having so much trouble. Look at the other team. We got 3 people above 3K. They are clearly playing a little bit better. They have their game sense up. Hopefully, we can see some good defense come in. Yes, we can. A and C, a very odd choice for the teams to decide to hold these two, as we're going to see some spawns.
It's a very
The
bizarre
important
split
thing
to
right now
see.
is that they hold the 2 points.
But
Yes.
a 2 cap is a 2 cap, and this is what you see at the highest levels of play here, is that you'll have a team that actually has control of B, but it's not about B. Sometimes getting that cap off the A or the C can make the
We're
huge
seeing
difference.
another large push at A point.
Fight. It's a massacre.
This could be it, Tom. I'm seeing some big plays from both sides. It's coming down to the wire. Triple Wreck over here trying to stay alive as the enemy seems to have it out for him. Here's the
We
with
are
his
1 kill
super.
away. We are 1 kill away.
Not able to get that kill. Triple Wreck finishes the game with a Blade Dancer kill. And there you have it, folks. What
That
an
was a
exciting
fantastic
match here
match.
from 2 top teams. Tom, I am so
This has been a
grateful to
great
have commentated
experience,
this
Tom.
with you.
It's been a good
This is truly
experience
one for the
everyone
ages.
here. I'd like to thank the audience
Absolutely,
for
absolutely.
for sticking it out here.
Just a nail biter to the end. And that just goes to show you how exciting Destiny can be at the competitive level. You just back and forth. You think one team has the lead, and then the other team comes roaring right back. It's all about that teamwork. It's all about playing together. It's about gun skill, and it's about mind skill, as I like to say. I have a little chart here to show you on the screen. It's kind of like yin and yang. Gun skill, mind skill. That's how.
And
teams
son of a
become
bitch, Tom, I
champions.
have not
And,
had
I
my
think that's what we
microphone
witnessed today.
properly hooked up this entire time, so I haven't been able to record my own audio. Son of a fuck.
Oh, you just hate to see that kind of thing happen, Tom. I'm really sorry that happened to you. My thoughts and prayers are with you and your family in these dark times.
My audio is not. I was wondering why that shit was so low.